Brandon Quaid. We are here, Quaid Harley-Davidson, with the man himself, Brandon Quaid.
Some royalty.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
What's it like having all that weight on your shoulders?
You just got to take it with class, you know what I'm saying?
You do every day of the week. I see that. But man, thank you for putting this on. You know, this is awesome, and always giving us like a place to do something fun like this. You know.
Well, thank you, Steve. I mean, you're a big part today. This is the first time that, I mean, you've promoted bike nights with us in the past, but this is you getting at your promotion today with Quaid, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I mean, and this is my first time ever sitting on a podcast in my showroom. We're pretty fucking cool.
Pop the cherry.
Yeah.
The cherry.
Right? I mean, who does that? And this is your first time doing live podcast at an event.
Yeah, this is the first time that we were kind of talking about on the phone today. We didn't even know how it's going to go. This episode of Shoot the Shit podcast is brought to you by Law Tigers. If you or someone you know has been in a motorcycle accident, make sure you call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS and get the help you need today. If you're on Instagram, make sure you check out lawtigers.ie and follow Chris for all things going on in the community, fun rides, events, and everything else in between. We'll be with him soon doing some rides and having some fun, so make sure you come check us out. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Still don't, but it's fun anyways, you know.
We'll work the bugs out.
Well, you got unlimited amounts of people to pull into this podcast right now, right? I mean, we're stacked and packed out there right now. I mean, we're running out of parking already.
That's great. Yeah,
I was telling Steve earlier, I remember, was I talking to Megan? I forgot who I was talking to, but I was telling him, I was like, dude, Quaid is known for, I'm from San Diego.
Okay.
I came up from San Diego. I used to come from San Diego for the bike nights. Like pre-COVID and stuff like that. This place used to pop. I mean, it still does.
It still does. But, and all, willing, I think I might pull off a bike announcement. I think I'm going to pull off one bike night, maybe two before the end of the year. But it's time.
Yeah. If you haven't been, it's definitely, it's an easy ride up. And it's a good fucking time.
Yeah,
and I look back on some of those bike nights, and they grew so big, and guys would tell me, "Hey, the only thing bigger and better than this in SoCal is Born Free, right?"
Yeah.
And and then we have the hotels next door, and then next thing you know, I'm like meeting all these people, like, "Oh, we rode out from Arizona, Nevada," and it's like, "Okay, now we're cracking." I always just try to make our store. Jokingly, and I told you, Steve, earlier, it's like I just try to put on something that I want to go to.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to be,
That's what's kind of been crazy about the events here, though, because they happen organically.
Yes,
and that's a big thing to me, like especially in our atmosphere of motorcycles right now. These happen organically. I see other people trying to do it, but it's definitely like a pay-to-play type thing. You know what I mean? And it happens organically here. People they migrate here for these events. We want to do these events here. You know what I mean? Like it's not like anything else. So
well, I appreciate that. I'm gonna go back probably 7-8 years ago. I was probably with Rogie and the Black Flies crew, and I changed the way I approached trying to get away from, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna give away some trade secrets, but if you get away from your own business and try to give back, you're gonna get more out of it. And most people aren't gonna understand that, right? Look, we need to get ours. Speed King needs to get theirs. Everybody needs to get theirs, right? But I turned it in one time with Black Flies. I go, you guys host it. Oh, what are you going to charge me? I'm all nothing. Not a fucking dime, right? Like, so when I did that, I remember that bike night, and it was like overwhelmingly explode. Because when you put on these events, there's pressure.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you, as any owner or general manager that does, runs a Harley store, it's a lot of work. I got a great team, though. I mean, my team and my staff have been doing it a long time. But for me, I want to give back to the community really first. I'm a community guy myself.
Same.
You know that, right? Like I'm the Harley guy. I've been at events. I'm like, oh, Quaid Harley-Davidson, and the guys actually rode here. A Harley store owner rode here, and everybody starts clapping. I'm like, who are they talking about? And they're like, oh, you. I'm like, oh, okay. I enjoy what I do. Been doing it with my family for a long time, and I still love the business. That's
pretty awesome to be able to say too, because I know it's a hard world to be in. I mean, I know a lot of dealerships. It's a hard world to be in, and it's a lot of work, man. And again, people come here for a reason. And we always kind of talk about why Quaid, and I think if you can look around, you can see why Quaid. You know what I mean?
I work with a couple of dealerships down in San Diego where Steve, I helped set up a booth for him and stuff like that. There's one dealership I work with. I used to work there, and they were super great. So I try to help them out when I can and stuff like that. So I've been to the bike nights and stuff like that, and they're different compared to what I get here. There's other dealerships down there. I don't want to mention them. They're the face of the dealership. I feel like I'm going to some 1990s Cal Worthington used car dealership, like way that they market their stuff, you know. And everybody's got their own avenue and stuff like that, but some of that shit just turns me off, and I'm just like, dude. I was like, I will come up here first before I go to one of those other bike nights, just because the way that you promote it, the way that you run things, and what I've seen before. And granted, they have a scene down there that's cool or hip and stuff like that, but I don't think I've been to one since it's been run how it's been run and stuff like that. And I've only been riding for like 13, 14 years, something like that.
That's good.
But then when I started like expanding, my friends and stuff like that, it was always one of my other friends. They're from what's a small town, Moville. They're from Moville.
Right over the hill here.
Yeah. When we were getting into bikes and stuff like that, he was like, "Oh yeah, do you know Quaid?" And I was like, "Bro, they put on like the best bike nights." And he was like, "Yeah, we used to party with the family and this and that or whatever." Yeah. So it's just you guys have a good atmosphere. The way you promote everything. Yep. You know what I mean?
Well, like, I have a thing about my life. It doesn't matter if I have a house party. I always kind of have this thing in the back of my head. I tell people, I go, don't let anybody have more fun at your own party than you. Yeah. Right. And I tell people, I get it. I mean, I've dealt with issues live and will at these things, right?
Oh yeah,
and
I've been there.
You've been there, and so but there's a way to juggle it, and there's a way to treat people. There's a way to treat whether it be a club member or a regular customer, but go around, smile, make friends. I tell everybody to do that in this in the industry, And I think what kind of started, I look back because I don't know, I appreciate you guys even mentioning it and saying the good words. I look back and I had to sit down with some people because I'm so oblivious. I tell people, you see the world out of your eyes. I don't see what they're looking at, right?
Yep.
And so I have to turn it around sometimes, see what people are looking at. I go, well, I'm just running around there smiling. I'm out there filming the guys stunting. I'm high-fiving people. I'm hanging out. I've known so many people here 15, 20 years. I consider them friends. I try to be a trusted, guy in the industry where people can send their friends and family. I'm not going to, I'm going to take care of them on a deal and whatnot. But, I think that's maybe our formula. My family are from Detroit. The long history of it. But I think my family was kind of bred for this business. You got to have a sense of enjoyment. You got to have that fucking party in you, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? You got to have that. And I was bred that way with my dad. My dad and uncles. God bless his soul. A couple of them passed away. But I ride with them to Laughlin. I was 19 years old. I rode to Laughlin with them. And I never had so much fun I did with my uncles in their 60s, like, just like
living the life,
riding, taking tequila shots, going to the next concert. It's like, I mean, imagine being bred into that at 19 years old. So I want to give that back to this community, in a safe way too.
I see it's a lot of these other dealerships. It tends to be a rotating door. But Brandon seems to be. You're locked in.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's the Quaid name.
Yeah,
man.
I was going to say, that helps too.
That's also, like, I noticed there's not a lot of dealerships named after the people.
Anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah. They're all just kind of like this generic name because, it seems there's a little bit of a, like you said, a revolving door.
Most of them are named after the town or the city.
Yeah, I think Steve and I maybe talked about this before, but some of these things are right in front of your face when you do it for a living. You don't even realize it, but then it takes a while, and I figured things out 25 years later. I'm like, oh, shit, I never even noticed that 20 years. But having your name on your side of your building, I want to tell people, support family businesses or, but then you'll see a name on the building that is the last name of the business. I think it makes a difference. I mean, there's the Laidlaws, the Bartels, Quaids. I don't know if there's many more. I mean, there's still some owners that, I've known for a long time that run their stores. Their name's not on the side of the store, but they've been around 40 years and everybody knows who the owner is. I just think that, it's easy for some, I'm not saying hide behind, but, my family's been in the car business from the 80s in Riverside to now. We've been in the vehicle industry for over 40 years in the Inland Empire. So my name's been around a long time. Even when I was a kid, it was like, oh, you're a Quaid Imports, right? Like, it was just a thing, right? So growing up, I've always had that, and I've always had the name on the side of the building. And so it does mean a difference when you're out and about and people say, hey, you're a Quaid, because if you don't have your name on the side of the building, you could fly under the radar and people can fucking hate you. I've had to have hard discussions at a bar, at a restaurant with customers, because, I came in there one time. I'm like, okay, well, I'd rather you just talk to me and tell me than not. Anyways, that's kind of, it's a much more, I think, of a blessing, but there's definitely a little bit different when your name's on a building and you got to stand behind it. And but it works a lot when I'm talking to customers and I tell them who I am. They go, you're actual Quaid. Yeah. So there's a little more trust. Like, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm here tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere.
You're definitely involved. I've been up here because my wife's from Grand Terrace, Colton area.
Yeah.
She don't like to claim it, but she is.
I think I just saw her around here somewhere.
Damn it.
My wife's Mo Val's. She let everybody know.
But I used to come up here because it's literally like just a couple exits down the freeway right here is where she lived at. So we would just pop in and I would always see you walking around, hustling, like still doing your thing or whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Just grinding away. You don't see that.
Yep.
A lot of people will just like, here you go. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I said, when it comes to this business, I tell people I don't say I'm the smartest. I'm not, and there's great operators out there, great owners, great methods. But I kind of pride myself saying I do know my customers probably better than most because I'm here almost every day, talking to my customers, spending time with them, and in this industry, like you can say this, Steve, right? Trends change.
100%.
I mean, I can tell you when we had Temecula, we owned Temecula, we built that store.
Oh, yeah.
It's really the same blueprints of this building. And we had a different clientele 40 miles away from Temecula to here, right? And, you got to know which bikes to order. I mean, I may be selling more vehicle bikes down here, than they were up there, right? And you just got to pay attention. And all of a sudden, in 3 months, a trend can change. You're selling more lowriders than you are road glides. And now, like this last 2 months, I sold the shit out of street glides, and we've been a road glide dealer forever. So, knowing your customers, also knowing the trends and knowing what's happening, what's not.
I think one of the biggest parts, though, too, is that you, like you were saying, though, you ride. So that you're not just knowing your customer, you're not just knowing trends, you're not just looking at numbers, you're part of the community. And like you said, community to me means a lot. Like, you know what I mean? When I'm doing what we do, my thing is to run my business and serve my community. And my community is this motorcycle community. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so when I see other brands, companies, dealerships and stuff doing the same, to me that holds them to a higher esteem than other people, because there's a lot out there that are only trying to grab what they can grab, and they're not serving this community. And people need to pay a lot more attention to that, in my opinion.
Look, I mean, you guys paid attention. I mean, Harley went through some of the woke shit, and our CEO is not very loved and liked, and whatever.
Yep.
But all that shit can go to the wayside because what are you going to ride?
Yeah.
Go buy an Indian?
I'm not.
Okay, no. I mean, I remember listening to a podcast years ago at San Diego Customs and Danny G, and it was Jeff Holt way back in the day, and they were going back and forth on what bike you're going to ride, and he goes, and Danny G said it best. He goes,
the best.
You probably know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
He goes, you know what? I didn't grow up thinking I'm going to get all my buddies together and go ride Indians, and I was like, that's right, so all that shit doesn't mean a difference. You know what this is? I've been doing this long enough to see it. Like, this business and this motorcycle still gives people purpose.
Yep.
And I say it in so many ways. There's so many cliches in riding, right? But you know what I see a lot of times? I go, I see a lot of like young kids coming in now.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm not saying they weren't shit, but they weren't treated fucking special.
Yep.
Their family just thought they were regular Mike or Jose or right? But you know what? They come and buy a Harley, right? And now they fucking roll into the quinceañeras or the birthday parties and they're like, you have a Harley? And they're like, that's right.
Yeah.
Right? And so it gives people something like some identity, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need now. I think people need, I think they need to get away from what, I don't know. I got all kind of cliches, but just fucking ride your bike, man. You're not going to worry about all the bullshit going on.
Yeah, I agree with you though, because I've been riding like adventure bikes a little bit lately, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. Like, there's a style to riding Harleys, right? Like, and then I got on this adventure bike, and I don't even know what to wear. Like, like
I on a Pan America, I'm still wearing my Simpson and all my same shit, and people are like looking at me. Hey, that's how I ride. I don't know yet.
I was like, do I wear my vest?
Steve rode out there in yoga pants. Yeah. With the little thong back hanging out.
Can you send me the pictures?
Yeah.
I got a couple on my phone. I'll send them over to you.
Those were just between me and you, man. Jesus.
We said those were the no rash adventure pants.
And look what happened. His beard fell off. Like, look at him.
Shit, motherfucker. I got nothing, dude.
Looked like his neck took a shit.
Yeah, right.
But it is true, man. It is weird and it's like weird to even say that. Like, there's a style to this, but it's 100% true. Right. Because when you go out to get on that Harley, you're not going out there with this bullshit like jacket on. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna put this flannel on. I'm gonna throw my vest on. You know what I mean? Like, I got my jeans on. And if you're for California, you got your Vans on. You're dialed in. You know what I mean?
Someone can argue about what's safe and what's not.
Yep.
I try to wear boots. Sometimes I wear my chucks or whatever. But
California riding boots.
One of my old service managers worked here, and he built custom bikes, and we went to Sturgis, the World Championship, all that shit. And it's like, he said at one time, you know, he's like, you know what bikes are? They're like rat rods. There's no rules.
No. Yeah.
Right? And you're like, you have a shifter out the, you know, some off sunroof and a rat rod, right? Like, and that's the great thing about this industry still. Like, you want to, I still get the guys that walk in and I'm like, what in the fuck is this guy wearing? I mean, this guy's got I've had a guy, I think in the last year walk in with the stirrups clicking through my store.
Hell yeah.
Fringes on his.
The chaps.
You know, I'm like, you know, and I think it's great, you know,
yeah.
because like you can get dressed up and you can look however you want, go ride your bike.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's SoCal. We have our own style. It kind of, you know, kind of feeds over. I think I remember in 2008, I rode to Milwaukee's 105th anniversary, and I had T-bars on a Road Glide in 2008, but I had an 09 Road Glide. And I could have tell you 100 people walk up to me, what are those? I'm like, those are called T-bars. You guys aren't ready for them. But you'll get them. You'll get them in about 5 years. And now all of a sudden, you know. But I tell you, it always starts in SoCal.
Always.
Every trail.
This is the Mecca.
Born and raised here. Everything starts here, and it'll eventually end up east. East is about 5 years behind.
5 years. Yeah, and I think I've talked to you about. I've thought about moving out of here multiple times. You know, getting out of this state. You know, just because it's great, we love it here, but there's a lot of other things we dislike. I mean, all of us. You know, whatever. But dude, this is the Mecca for fucking everything.
It is.
You know, like if I leave here, I'm so out of touch then at that moment. That moment I cross that state border, I'm so out of touch. There ain't no fucking chance.
You're going back in time.
Yeah, dude, I'm good. And I love visiting. I love going back, and I love doing these other states. But I'm a
SoCal. You know, I was listening to some guy the other day. He was saying, you know, it's what is it? It's stoic to leave home. Like, look, we already know. I'll fucking stand up and fight for this place. And I think a lot of people do. You know, you hear. You know, whatever goes on, you hear people talk so much about California, but there's a lot of, we all love this state. You know what I mean? And it's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I'm fighting. I mean, I've been all around the country. My mom lives in Arkansas. I've been almost every state. I'm like, they're great to visit.
Great.
But go live there.
Yeah.
You know?
Go spend winter there.
Don't get me wrong. I know that some of my friends fucking lie to me and tell me, oh, I moved to Arizona's greatest thing in my life. I call them in August. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How's it now? I'm calling you from the bottom of the pool.
They have to constantly convince themselves they made the right decision.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
But the problem too you get with those states is that so many people from California move there. They just fuck it up anyway. So it's happening.
Yeah. My buddies, I have a couple of my good friends live in Scottsdale, and they're like, oh, it's so different. I got there. No, it's not. My buddy has a deleted diesel truck. He had to register a different county because you can't register your deleted truck in
forget about it.
Maricopa County.
Yeah.
So you got to go to another county. So it's not what people think it is. Anyways, weird. Every state, everybody.
We almost went down that hole.
Every state has their thing, and I know them. You know, and some, you know, I get it. Some you feel freer than other, but your freedom's in the mind, right?
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like if you're stressed out, worried about everything. You know, we all have to worry about our bills and our lifestyle, but, you know, it's not like you're going to go somewhere else and you just feel like, oh, this is bliss. I mean, we're humans.
And throw a giant party at a dealership on a Saturday, you know, and fucking have all these people show up and ripping fucking wheelies and burnouts. I mean, come on.
Not during the day out there.
Yeah.
No. It's like a slaughter fest. You know, I look at that stunt row. I call it the murderous zone. You know, it's like there's... I think it should be white how old that asphalt is, just black from... I mean...
Yeah,
seriously. I think Ravi last... party we had 2-3 months ago, I think he burned 7 tires himself, or I don't know, these guys used to have it. I let him have it. I just go for it.
He already burned a tire like at 10:30 this morning.
I go, I call him, he hates tires. He hates them.
Oh yeah.
Mad at him.
Somebody's got to hate him, dude. You know?
That's funny. The first bike night I came out here, Ravi and Clay, I think were just starting their
little youngsters,
their whole thing. Yeah, and I remember on the
local boys
on that road back there, he was talking about. I was like, bro, how is this asphalt gonna hold up? This thing's getting fucking hammered.
Yeah, it's probably like this thin by now.
Ravi, I'm looking at him out. They keep stealing more real estate, man, because we usually just keep him in the stunt lane, but now we got.
I saw him push out a little bit today.
I had to change this little caution tape and get more parking, but you know, we got Jared now doing his flips.
Yeah,
and
Jared's a killer too.
I just think that, you know, I mean, what a place to come. I mean, I'm standing third person out looking in, like, it's free. Yeah.
Come
here, come eat some food.
You got the hog chapter here giving away free food even.
Right. You know, you come here and talk to cool people. You get to see some shit on bikes you've never seen. I mean, I don't know. That's like...
We got the FDR Foundation here raising money for our community.
Frank, what a great asset to this community. Him going around with you and everybody and involved in the racing, which, you know, I've done since day one. And it's just been great, man. I mean, I look back and, you know, you got to tell yourself sometimes where you came from, right? Because I think I'm always forward. My dad has a saying, forward forever, backwards never. And I'm like, okay, but then, you know, I read some quote from Marcus Aurelius, like, remember your trials and tribulations and how you got in here, how tough you are and what got you here. And you got to think back, you know, because I'm like, fuck, I mean, been doing this so long, I forgot most of it, right?
Yeah.
But if you start looking back, like I'm looking around the store right now. This is the same thing people want. Like they're here, man. They rode their bikes out. It's the pre-born pre-party, which is cool, right? But most people here can't even make it a born free, so they're here getting a taste of it, and all the flavors and the different vendors that are here today.
Yeah,
I fucking love it, man. I'm known as the aftermarket shop, right?
Yep.
I'm a huge promoter. You know me, I'm a huge promoter of aftermarket. I mean, I've had to fight my own staff at some point. It's like, oh, this guy that sells this and we sell that, and I'm like, you know what? Harley stores, you need to support Harley stores. I'm gonna be on the side of that, right? And if an aftermarket needs to support Harley stores, right? Because this is what drives the train, right?
Yeah.
So, and I beg to say, if anybody's listening here, I think it was my buddy Jack Stubbs at Stubbs Harley in Arizona.
Yep.
He put out a little post. He's like, oh, look at all the aftermarket shops just waiting for the Harley Davidson stores to stand up for all this woke shit. And they just sitting back, right? If you're involved in this community, you need to chime back, right? You need to chime back at, any negativity, because it's really bullshit. I mean, I don't even know half the bots for shit online anymore, but the community needs to stand up for itself.
Yep.
And it needs to say, hey, look, go into your Harley stores and buy. I read shit. Oh, I would never buy a new bike. Really? Okay, well, buy it next year. It's the same bike today. But I don't know why I'm going off on that. I guess that's what podcasters do, right? You just
run it up.
But hey, look, I mean, Harley stores need to be here.
Yeah, they do.
And
if they're not here, what are we going to ride?
100%. And everybody thinks, oh, I'll just buy a used bike. No, you won't. I mean, I can tell you, I was in here in 100th anniversary. My first year I started in this business with my family. It was 2002. And Harley Davidson ran 3 colors with a couple customs: gunmetal, silver and black, but they ran it for 14 months because it was so successful. I had $150,000 in deposits on bikes that hadn't even shown up yet. And when we sold those, and by the end of 14 months, I was so fucking tired and sick and tired of looking at 100th anniversary colors. Because it was boring. Yeah. And I thought, man, I'm going to see these for the rest of my life. And I've been doing this so long. When you see a 100th anniversary bike, it's like, where do these bikes go? So you need to keep feeding the industry. You need to keep buying new bikes.
Especially here in California, because all these kids fucking destroy them with all these wheelies, dude. I blame Ravi and his people.
Yeah.
No, it's true though. I mean, like at the end of the day, like, I have my quarrels with certain things, of course, you know what I mean, because I am an aftermarket shop, you know what I mean, at that time. But, if we don't, I want new bikes. I just want them so basic, because that's what we do, right? We build the bikes, we make the parts, you know what I mean? And I always say that I wish Harley would come out with a bike that you could, like, people like me can say, I only need the frame, the front part of the frame, the engine case, the like a builder package, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to change the front forks. I'm going to change this. Maybe I need the fairing. Maybe I need the bags. Yeah. But I'm going to change the subframe. I'm going to change the seat. I'm going to change all these things. Like they should do a program like that, and like so we could special order the kit how we need, so we're not having to pay $40,000 for a bike. Kind
of more like a roller, you're thinking, or something.
Yeah, or even less. Comes in a crate. Oh. You know what I mean? We assemble it, you know what I mean? Because we're going to powder coat the frame or something, That's
a great idea. Maybe someone in Milwaukee's listening. I know there's going to be a little, change of powership up there again. This, I think, will be my 6th CEO. I've been saying this a long time. People go, what do you think? I go, this will be my 6th CEO coming. We've been doing this so long, our reps know. It's like, I control what's in my 4 walls. I can't control much more what's out there.
Yep.
With that being said, I do want to get back to the industry and control the scene.
Yep.
But, yeah, you're right. I hope they're paying attention. They're listening because, I like the base. I mean, I started here with remember Softail Standards?
Yep.
Fuck, you remember Electric Light Standard?
Yep.
I mean, it was like $10,000 parts list on Electric Light Standard.
When I bought my Road Glide, I didn't even have ABS.
Right.
I was like, perfect. This is how I don't want ABS. I don't want all the crazy doodads. I just don't like that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, it's like, well, if you put ABS, I'm going to take it off.
Right.
And it's like, so I don't want to pay for that.
Right.
So that's how I see it. Like, maybe they got to, do something like that, because that would be cool for people like me who just want the bare bones. I want a Harley frame, Harley engine, like Harley transmission case, and I'll do the rest, kind of deal.
I think that would be a great way to, because there's how many, what do you got? So many subgroups of this you got. You got your riders, you got your rider builders, you got your... I got guys that build, and all they give a shit is about building a bike. And once they're done building a bike, they want to build another bike. And I never see them ride them.
Yeah.
And like so there should be a builder buy.
Really should.
Hey, I see how I dubbed that builder buy. I got that knack, right? But I think it's a great idea. I mean, why not? Hey, they got to buy them through a Harley store. You come in a crate, you pick them up. It's got a transmission, a frame.
Yep.
Maybe have this or that, and you know, and like a roller, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, well,
Steve, we're going to put you up for CEO here soon.
There we go. I got some bigger ideas too. You know what I mean? That's just just want to give you a taste.
They're going to make you shave your beard though.
Oh, never mind. Well, Brandon, thank you for today. Thanks for putting this on, man. Thanks for having us here. Love you, man.
Thank you. Hey, my first podcast. This is fun.
This is just a taste, man. We're gonna do way more. We're gonna bring you into the real studio, and we're gonna sit down for like 3 hours and talk a lot of weird shit.
We can do it, man. I like to get weird.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, Brandon. Where do people find you if they want to look you up if they don't already follow you?
Well, I'm Brandon C. Quaid, but Quaid Harley Davidson. You'll find me. I'm on the videos. But that's really, like I said, the love comes to the store here.
Yep.
We got a Quaid racing team.
Yep.
I'm out there, and I'm out and about. So you'll see me at Born Free, and I have a Freedom Machine line, clothing line that'll be there.
Yep.
Anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate you. You got plenty of people out there to interview. I hope you have some fun. Thank you.
We're definitely having fun. All right, you guys, check it out. Quaid Harley Davidson, Loma Linda, California. Make sure to come in, mention Speed Kings.
Ciao.